What is up, YouTube? It's me. I am about to go live on Instagram, and since Instagram struggles with allowing me to save my lives to my phone so I can share them later on YouTube, I just figured I would, bam, record it right here on YouTube while I'm live on Instagram so that it can just live here for future reference in case anybody wants to come and feel the vibe. So I'm about to go live and talk about the awakening process. So hold on a sec. I'm gonna start it up. It's saying pause due to poor connection. Let me end. Damn.
Troy Casey is certified.
Let me take it off Wi-Fi because Wi-Fi can be whack. Oops. Fuck. Ah. Okay, let's try this again. I'm a clear channel for the divine to flow through, and I am. It says it's telling the followers, Edwin. What? Hi, Edwin. Hi, welcome, Mea Luna. Welcome, Zullybone. Welcome as you flow into this room. Tale about Nomad. What's up, y'all? Oh, hi. Welcome. Oh, it's so good to see everybody flowing in here. Hi. Okay, so I just got done giving a one-on-one session here in my home sanctuary, and I felt like I wanted to jump in here on IG. I haven't done a live lately. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about the awakening process, and it's been something that I've been ruminating on a lot. As you all know, I'm deep in my awakening process, and it's quite a messy, complicated process that we are all going through. And if you have joined into this room, into this little dialogue, then I'm sure you are in your process as well, because we magnetize together, we call each other in because we have the soul connection for support. Because we all know how freaking hard it is to go through the awakening process in the world that we live in today. And I do believe that our souls consciously chose to incarnate in this time of total chaos and upheaval upon the planet intentionally. Our souls are very strong and wise. They're also eternal consciousness. They are also infinite consciousness. Our souls are indestructible. And they're like, why not? Sounds like a fun old time on planet Earth. Let's go. Let's go be death doulas for the patriarchy. Let's go be midwives for the new paradigm, right? Our souls are freaking down. And we come into these human bodies that are like, what the fuck? This shit's intense. Being in the third dimension is really intense and hard. And so we are in this process of holding space for our animal bodies, for our physical bodies, the bodies that need, biologically we're designed to need creature comforts so that we can feel safe, so that we can feel like we can continue to exist and survive. So we biologically avoid the pain and seek the pleasure. And our souls are like, let's do the damn thing. Let's go. You know, our souls are like, bring on the fucking hard challenges. Let's do this. And our bodies are like, slow your roll, pump the brakes. I need a moment. I need a nap. that I need some food or something that's going to ground me and make me feel comfortable and resourced enough to continue to do this thing, this dance upon planet Earth that is so fucking challenging. Let me scroll back because I saw a little comment come up. Am I saying your name? I think you're Brittany. You're 18. I'm such a role model for you. Oh, thank you. It's very inspiring to hear that an 18-year-old finds me to be a role model. Thank you. I really wish that at 18 I had someone in my life who was like, listen, you're not crazy. And like somebody who I could talk to on the regular. I had one person in my life when I was 18 who pulled me aside, and I mean, I don't think, maybe he did know, but he told me, just very brief, very succinct. He was like, listen, follow your heart. Okay? Like, it's going to be the hardest thing you ever did, but the most fulfilling thing you ever did. And he dropped that seed into me, and it was like, that seed has grown within me my whole life. And I'm so grateful that I had an elder speak some wisdom to me when I was 18. Because at 18, I was a mess. I was a motherfucking mess. And so, yeah, here's the thing. I'm kind of all over the place, but this is what I want to say. What I was starting to say when I first came in here is our souls come in with a very clear mission. Our souls incarnate here in the third dimension on planet Earth in the time of the grand shitstorm. You know, it's the time of the Kali Yuga upon the planet. It's the time when shit is in full upheaval mode. We know it. You look out into the world and you're like, wow, shit's really fucked up here. It's really hard to be a human. And for people who are in the awakening process for me, I just shared this little piece in the session that I just gave. The question was something like, are we awakened or are we awakening? And so here's the thing. Our souls are eternally awakened. Our souls are infinite supreme consciousness, eternal, indestructible, light, love, all of that, all the time. We are, in our true essence, awakened. Then we come into these human bodies in the third dimension, and we experience this sort of amnesia, and I call it the divine forgetfulness, where we forget that we are all one with all that is, because we come into this reality where we have physical bodies, and I would say that I stop where my skin ends, right? And that you're you and I'm me, and we're these separate things. But the truth is that we are all actually the same thing. There's no difference between you and me and this telephone that I'm speaking to. It's all one. It's all one. That's the truth. And so the awakening process, for me, what I think the awakening process is, the mind and the ego's designed to keep us sensing that we are individuated as humans, because that's the name of the game on planet Earth. It's individuation, right? It's the realm of duality. It's the realm of you and me, good, bad, right, wrong, black and white. So the ego is just simply doing its job to help me think, to continue this illusion that I am separate from all that is. Now, this creates an existential crisis for every person in a human body, whether we're consciously aware of it or not. So deep inside of you, somewhere, whether you're consciously aware of it or not, there's this dull, grinding ache of what the fuck is actually going on here, right? And when we're awakening, we're tuning into that. We're tuning into the whole, what the fuck actually is this? What is this game? I materialize in a human body at birth, and I go through this living process, and then eventually I fucking die? Like, what? You know, that's really, really hard when you start to look at that straight up. That's intense. That's intense to think that there's an expiration date on my body, on your body, on the whole fucking thing. So it's that existential crisis of what does it all mean and what's the point? You know, working with aging people, people who are nearing the exit of the human experience, whether, you know, it's because of age or health or whatever it is, you start to come to terms with, wow, I'm not going to be here forever. And that can scare the shit out of a lot of us. And I think us as humans, we live in a society that's designed to keep us off, like distract us from what's really going on and the real truths here, to keep us so preoccupied on just simply on survival mode, first of all. But they also play on the existential crisis of being a human by throwing all the distractions at us. You know, it's like, it's no mistake that on this planet, alcohol is legal and accessible everywhere you go, right? But psychedelics are illegal. Psychedelics, the things that blow this fucking little societal game to smithereens, because you start seeing the truth of who we truly are, and you start to see the truth of the grand design. Oh, those are elite. Those are Schedule 1 drugs, right? But alcohol, you can get it anywhere, because tune the fuck out and become, you know, like dangerous too. You know, because it's like somebody has a drink, a couple of drinks, put them on the road in a car. They could potentially kill people because they're on one. They're gonzo, right? I mean, not that we want anyone under the influence in driving, but if someone were to smoke a little ganj, they're probably just going to drive slow. But anything that opens us up to expand our consciousness and to get us questioning and asking why and all of that, society is designed to have us avoid doing that at all costs. Society is designed to keep us asleep. Society is designed to keep us sick, dumbed down. We're not dumb. It's just we're not cultivated to be critical thinkers and to, you know, be problem solvers. We're taught to be fucking robots in school. Straight up. Like, I mean, dude, I could go on tangents on that one. We're taught to be, we're cultivated to be sick. Like, if you look at our food supply, Monsanto running the planet, Monsanto merging with Bayer. Do you guys know that Bayer manufactured the gases for Auschwitz? Bayer, that aspirin company, that company you buy aspirin from, yeah. They also manufactured heroin and put it out into the market, the black market. Yeah. They bought Monsanto. The GMOs, the pesticides, the chemtrails, the fluoridated waters, the legalization of alcohol instead of all the other, you know, plant medicines that are illegal. Or cigarettes are legal that are laced with hundreds of chemicals. You know, it's like every which way you look on the planet, they want us sick and dying, straight up. And, you know, it's like people get banned for talking like this. So I'm filming it on YouTube and I'm filming it on Instagram, and I'm just going to keep saying this because it needs to be said. You know, people look at you crazy when you become divergent, because it's like society wants us all in step and in line, little robots that are resources. Humans are farmed to be resources. We don't live in a society that wants us healthy, empowered, on thriving mode. They want us out of touch with our true essence and with our purpose. So, I could go on a tangent for hours about that because, dude, it's like from birth. It's from birth. Like circumcising little boys, acts of violence against little boys. There's a whole theory about why that is and how that creates desensitivity in men. And there's a philosophy that if no men had ever been circumcised on the planet, that we probably wouldn't have war. We might not have patriarchy because it's like the mother, the source of safety, handing over the newborn boy to a stranger who commits an act of violence and then hands it back to the mother. That's setting up the dynamic of distrust from birth. And then, bam, you pump them full of vaccines that have thimerosal and mercury and all of these things that cause us to be very, very sick later in life. Or then you give them cow milk or the soy or, the pesticides and the GMOs. And dude, we could go on and on and on. So, this is the thing, because I've been wanting to create this online course of going from surviving to thriving. And the more I sit and contemplate it, the more I'm like, how do you thrive in a system that wants you on survival mode? How do we do it? If you're not a affluent, white, cis, straight man, it's fucking hard. And I gotta say, I'm a person of privilege because I'm a white person, and I will own that. I will never know. I can only empathize and imagine what it's like for people of color. But as a queer white woman or female-bodied person, I have my own shit that I have to deal with. And coming out of, a conservative family whose values and beliefs I really never understood, never resonated, very hard to deal with. And I was the crazy fucking black sheep. Like, they didn't know what to do with me. They were like, hello? Like, the indoctrination never fucking worked on me. And, it sent me on this path of like, I don't really understand this world. For me, my whole life, it's been like, I don't understand how some people are so good at being human. Like, sincerely, as a kid, I used to think that. Like, I really don't get how some people are so good at this. Because here, nothing makes sense to me. Everything feels upside down, inside out, backwards, wrong. And it's like, it's a societal system that I don't comprehend it, placed upon a paradise planet, which to me makes total sense. Like, everything about Mother Earth makes sense to me. Living symbiotically with the planet, living communally with human beings, that makes sense to me. Living in little isolated boxes, like living as a single mom, that shit doesn't make sense to me. And that's what I am. I'm a single mom. We have a micro unit that lives in a little box apartment. It's like, what makes sense to me is thinking about matriarchal times and how people lived upon the planet symbiotically and communally, respecting female and male bodies, when males revered and honored female bodies. That makes sense to me. Trade and sharing before there was, monetary currency, which we've become enslaved to that. So it's like, how do we as humans go from surviving to thriving in a system that's designed for us to be struggling on survival mode? I'm ruminating on it every single day. In all my time, I'm like, how do we do this, And for somebody like me who's like, I'm still going to the fucking doctor getting tests to see if my cancer's come back. You know what I mean? It's like, recovering from a chronic illness or living with a chronic illness as a single mom who has rent to pay and has got to work and this and that. It's like, and function in a society that feels insane to me. It's like, how do you do it? How do you do it? How do we do it? So I like to utilize these platforms to talk about it because it's comforting to hear that other people are going through the process and that we're not just alone in all of this. Because when we're not talking about this, we can all start to think that we are isolated and alone. We're like, fuck, dude, I'm crazy. Like, I must be crazy, right? And like, no, you're not crazy. You live in a crazy world. So let's get really clear about that. And I had this thought last night when I was chilling out by myself, like, am I depressed? Or do I live in our personality disorders and all the whole gamut? We have to not just isolate the experience of one person and not relate it to, of course you feel depressed. Look at your circumstances and look at the world you live in. And I'm not sitting here like a little victim, like, look at me and look at us and the world's so fucked up. But it can feel very overwhelming to the point of like, dude, what are we even going to do about it? Like, it makes us just want to fucking give up. It makes us want to have shots. It makes us want to scroll endlessly. It makes us want to shove food down our throats for comfort. It makes us want to have sex all the time. It makes us want to always be seeking out a partner or love or attention or go shopping endlessly. It's like, yeah, dude, I can't cope with this. And nobody taught me how to cope with this. And I wasn't raised in a household that was like, fuck the patriarchy, let's overthrow this shit. You know, it can feel isolating. And I'm like, I'm sick of it. I'm ranting right now because I'm fucking sick of it. And people might come on here and watch this and think I'm crazy and oh well. I'm to the point where I'm like, go ahead. You can think I'm crazy. It's cool. People might not watch this. People might click off. Oh well. People might unfollow me. Oh well. I'm going to continue to say this until I don't have a body anymore. Because you know what? Like, human beings are worth it to me. And you know what? The planet's worth it. And all the creatures that live upon the planet are worth it to me. And like, my belief is that we can be good neighbors in the universe. Like, planet Earth's kind of like a joke in the universe right now. It's like, yo, because we're enslaved on this planet. Straight up. And you know it. If you're sitting here with me right now and you're watching this, you know it too. And you're probably trying to figure out how to cope too. So yeah, what I was saying is it feels overwhelming and it feels like I'm just one small little ant upon the planet. Like, what am I going to do to change it? Well, I believe that when we do the internal work, we live in a fractal universe. We live in a multiverse. We live in a fractal multiverse. So when you are doing the inner work, you are impacting a multiverse. When you sit and you meditate upon the love vibration in your body and you see yourself as a superconductor of light energy, and when you see yourself beaming this brilliant light of your soul in your human body throughout the multiverse, you're having an impact. When you smile at the person who's checking you out in the grocery store, you're having an impact. When you share authentically at the risk of being seen as crazy, you're having an impact. When you anonymously do something like give a meal to a person who doesn't have a home on the street, you're having an impact. When you say a prayer of forgiveness for the person who fucking they did that thing that's like unforgivable and you forgive them, you're having an impact. It's a fractal multiverse that we live within. So it's like, yeah, how do we go from surviving to thriving in a world that doesn't want us to thrive? They want us enslaved. How do we do that? I see comments coming through. Maybe I'll read some of these comments. So Christina, hi. She said, yes, play the game to the extent we must to survive, find others like us, and stick together. The Cove Witch, yes, queen. Is Shen, it's such a special time to be alive. It is. And this is the thing I was just saying, is like our souls chose the exact time of incarnation, and here we are all together. And our souls were like, dude, it's a mess. Let's go. Let's go. So we can choose. Are we going to continue to sleepwalk through life? Or are we going to do the hard, arduous work of waking up? It's not easy. And it's not some like woo-woo new age thing of like awakening. You know, it's like fucking awakening is like rolling up your sleeves and fucking rolling around in the mud. Because we have to take the blinders off and look at things that we don't want to see and that we've been actually programmed and brainwashed to not see. They have us so distracted and so preoccupied. We're preoccupied with just surviving, chronically on survival mode, which makes us sick, right? The stress of being on chronically on survival mode compromises your immune system. Then, to comfort yourself, because you're stressed the fuck out, you're gonna eat those comfort foods. You're gonna drink those drinks. You're gonna fucking do all the mindless scrolling and like all the mindless shit to tune out because it's just too much. So I'm not judging anyone, and I'm just having compassion of like, of course you're doing those things. Of course it's hard. Of course you want to check out. Of course you feel depressed. Of course you just want to sit and veg and watch movies all day and like get Postmates and like not do shit. Sometimes it just all feels like it's too much. So like somebody was saying, yeah, we have to find our tribe. We have to find the people in our lives that we can have these conversations with. And like, if you don't have anyone, then be it with yourself, journal it, and you got to seek out those people. And the way that you figure out who those people are is that you be that. You be that. You're the one who's you're saying the things, and like eventually you're going to magnetize in the people who are like, yeah, they're going to resonate in. You're going to call it in. And I know this is especially hard for our young people. You know, like I'm a mom of 2 teenagers, and I've been a teenager before too. And this is not the common way of being. This is like the weirdo shit. This is the stuff where it's like, it's isolating. It's very isolating for a lot of people. It's also hard for our elders who come out of a time of really gnarly programming with really rigid boxes that people had to perform within. You know, so it's like the awakening process can feel isolating because it's like, fuck, dude, I'm going to be that crazy person. And you have to deal with the consequences, and it's hard. It can feel so isolating. But I mean, I'm down for the cause. I'm down for the cause. And almost losing my life more than once was the impetus that shook me and was like, because I mean, I've felt this way my whole life, but feeling resourced enough and courageous enough to actually just start to unpack everything and be honest about it and be vulnerable online and in my life offline, right? But to be vulnerable, to be willing to be seen, heard, witnessed in my authenticity and my truth, yeah, it's terrifying. It's terrifying for all of us. And then, you know, like I'm a dancer, I'm a mover. And so I'm doing the same process with my movement practice where I've been a trained dancer for decades. And there's this huge element of performative dance, technical dance, when you're learning techniques and you're performing, it's all kind of based on like, ooh, wow, look at that dancer has such technical prowess, right? It's like, even in class, like, look at me, teacher, look at me, aren't I great? And I realized like a big part of my shadow that's like so vulnerable and there's like a lot of shame around it, but it's like, as a dance major in college, having my dance professors see me and be like, wow, I just wanted that. I just so wanted to be seen and like acknowledge that I was good for something in the world. That's real. And so to like build up a technique and to be able to wow people on stage and always love the authentic, raw, true expression, but like never feeling safe enough consciously to be like, no, this is my raw expression. Isn't that good enough? And who cares if it's not even good enough? Who cares? Like, even that piece. So, yeah, I'm doing this process with my movement practice as well, like being seen in my authentic expression instead of like wowing anyone with technique, which most of my technique's out the door anyways because I'm disabled at this point. And so it's just simply hard to move my body, period, let alone like dance. And so working on technique's been really hard, yoga practice, all that. So it's really been about like allowing my body to just move primally and and unravel the trauma, right? And let energy just move through. And it takes courage to just move the body naturally. Then, do it in front of a camera and record it and share it. That's next level of being seen and witnessed in your authenticity. Because when you move, you can't lie. There's no lying when you're moving. Whether you're doing technique or not, the whole world can see everything. You're telling your whole life story when you're moving your body. Anyways, I'm totally ranting and rambling. I was going to look at these comments and I'm just like on a tangent. The Cove Witch said, you're not crazy, you're realistic, and what you speak is true regardless of what others perceive the truth to be. Boom. Is Shen, you are awake and beautiful, as are you. Let's see. Jonna Viveronica. We can't escape it, and I don't think that it's necessarily desirable. We must shift it and elevate ourselves and each other. Just keep doing our best to love and live our truth. Boom. Bhakti Soul said, I'm wowed by your courage and vulnerability. Thank you. And people tell me this. And it's so interesting because straight up, I'm going to be real with you guys. Like, I'm such a fraidy cat. I have lived so much of my life morphing my truth and like, who do you need me to be? Like super codependent, like textbook codependency, because having core wounds and core needs unmet as a child and early attachment traumas of childhood of like, don't you just please just see me for who I am, and don't you just love me because aren't I lovable? And when a child doesn't perceive that they're being loved unconditionally and having their emotional needs met, that, there's a lot of codependency habits that come out of that. So there's strategies to get our needs for unconditional love met. We do a lot of things. So you saying that you're wowed by my courage and vulnerability, dude, it took me 42 years and cancer to get to this point where I could just sit here and be like, boom, like to share pictures unedited and share my true thoughts. You know how much it took? It took me nearly losing my life to get to this point. So mad love and respect and props for folks who are just too scared to like share honestly and vulnerably. I get it. And like the reason why I am this way is because when I thought I might die, it was like, fuck, I have to have my truth come out. I can't die having not been me. And so it was like, boom, this is who I am. And it was just like pulling off layer after layer and layer of my own constructed falseness that were just strategies to navigate through the world and like be accepted in the fucking world, or to have like my parents love me, or people that I wanted to have connections with love me. And then it was like, fuck that, dude. Like, I'm not going down like that. I have to be real. I have to love myself. And then, not just have to, but it was like, dude, I'm so lovable. Like, all of a sudden, it was like, whoa, I could see me clear as day. Having spent 42 years not able to truly see myself, all of a sudden, I could see me, like in Technicolor. I was like, oh, I've been lovable this whole time. Oh my God, I haven't even been loving myself. I've been needing the whole world to love me because I couldn't love myself because I didn't even know what self-love was. And compassion for that part of me because that wasn't modeled for me. And it's not shown in the world. It's like we're all fumbling around in the dark. And of course we are. Of course it feels messy. Of course it feels overwhelming. Like, just compassion for all of us. We're doing our best. And most of us are really messy about it behind closed doors. You feel me? I just had to come on here and like let it rip. Because this is like streaming through me all day, every day now. You know, it's like, it's true. When you enter the awakening process is a long thing. It's like, I really believe that as long as we're in a human body, we are going to continue to awaken to the truth of who we truly are. And when you begin your awakening process, there is no way to go back to sleep, and nobody wants to once you're starting to awaken, because it's like, yeah, it's uncomfortable and all that, but it's like, it's so nourishing. Like, imagine eating a lifetime of McDonald's and like the first time you taste greens, you're like, ooh, that shit tastes like shit. I want my high fructose corn syrup. I want my ultra fried fat shit, nutrientless foods, because that shit tastes good. Ah. It's saying it's pausing due to poor connection. So annoying. Oh, okay, here we are. Dude, it paused it. Are you guys still here with me? It's saying I have poor connection, but I have full connection. No surprise that I would be paused for poor connection. Come on. We all know what's going on, right? So what I was saying is, when you go completely unnourished, it's like the being asleep process to tasting your first bitter green. Say you're tasting kale for the first time, you're like, that shit tastes horrible. But it's nutrient dense and you don't really want it, but it's so fulfilling on a cellular true level that something calls you into it again and again, and then you start to acquire a taste for it, and then it's just like shifting into that more and more and more, and then it just becomes a joy and becomes a pleasure. And it's like, even though this shit's so hard and sometimes it hurts so bad and sometimes I just want to check out and sometimes I just want to mindfully scroll because I don't drink anymore and I don't get fucked up anymore, and there's a lot of ways that I've like cleaned up my whole life. And it's like when you start to wake up and you start to tune in and you start to feel, you feel how uncomfortable it is, along with the pleasure. You feel the pain too. And we long for the creature comforts, And so I try to take it easy and be compassionate with myself in this process and give myself a little wiggle room. But, like even me, I haven't drank alcohol since 2012. And like recently I started contemplating like, dude, maybe I should just start drinking again. And like I had that thought for like 5 seconds and then I was like, nah, not doing it. I'm not doing it because I know how I was when I was drinking and why I was drinking. And I know what I come out of, dude. Like too many people, too many alcoholics in my family, and too much history of tuning out. And I'm not doing that. I'm tuning in. I'm tuning in, and I'm going to feel the feels. And like in the gnarliest times of my life, it's straight up. It's just like you're sitting in the fire. You're sitting in the fire. The fire's fucking licking your skin. It's intense. You feel like you're going to be annihilated. But guess what? The fires of purification burn away all illusion. And eventually, we're going to drop our human bodies. Eventually, your persona, your whole fucking racket of who you are is not going to exist anymore. Eventually, one day, you're going to take your last breath and let it go. But the truth of who you truly are will always exist. It is eternal. So even the human game of being in a body is also an illusion. It feels real. It feels real, but I mean, it is real for now. It's a finite real. But the truth is, you're infinite, having a finite experience. And so you opted in, you chose to come to the realm of duality. So can you sit in equanimity with the pleasure and the pain? Can you hold compassion for your human self during the fucking painful times? And can you savor the exquisiteness of pleasure? Can you hold them both balanced? I know when we're in pain, the first thing we want to do is get out of pain. I know. So compassion for people who want to get out of the pain as soon as possible. Can we bring in this little question when the pain and the intensity is there of, pain, why are you here right now? What did you come to teach me? Can we be a humble student to the pain? Can we be compassionate with our body and try to bring ease and comfort into the painful situation and bring in a little ease and comfort that's healthy and nourishing to our wholeness? Right? Because if like something intense happens and I want to go get fucked up to cope with it, that's a little temporary Band-Aid on something that's going to be there the minute I sober back up, dude. And it's going to be even worse. And I'm going to feel like shit. So, anyways, I'm just flowing. Is Shen, I don't know if I'm saying your name right. You said, Purusha, staying in the emotion burns karma. Ooh, I like that. And creates our being. We need this experience to exercise our spiritual muscle. Yeah. And we chose to come into a world that doesn't teach us the value of that. Society says, oh, you're in pain? Here's a million ways to check out immediately. Do it. We're not taught how to navigate the pain. Zulibone said, this resonates so much that I'm in tears. I'm so grateful I watched this. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing to come in and just have a real talk. Thank you. Thank you for saying yes. Thank you for feeling it. You felt me, Zulibone. You felt me and you were like, I'm going in. So I just have infinite compassion for every single person who lives upon this planet and every creature and the planet herself, because dude, we're doing a number on our planet. We're doing a number on each other. Humanity is enslaved, and there's an uprising happening right now in humanity. And that's the thing. Patriarchy is not sustainable. It's not a sustainable system. And You know, human beings, we are way more powerful than what we've been programmed to think. And I think without the system, I always try to imagine what would this planet be like without patriarchy? Dude, paradise planet. Paradise planet. Envision it with me. And roll up your sleeves and roll around in the mud with me. Like, let's do this. So we do this by having the real talks with ourselves and with each other. And we do the work in our small ways. And we build the confidence and the courage. We build the strength of authentic truth, embodying it. And we go out there and move in the world. And guess what? You can create a ripple effect without saying a word. You don't have to talk the talk. All you have to do is walk the walk. Like me coming on here and talking this and that, yeah. Hopefully it's an inspiration. Hopefully it's like seed blowing in the wind to you. Hopefully you just feel it and you're like, yes! It's scary as fuck to embody my truth, but I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it by starting with just like this. Hugging myself, giving myself the hug that I'm freaking longing for. Giving myself a kiss and saying, I love me. I love that I chose to be embodied right now. I love that I'm on a planet that's in a shitstorm space. I love that my soul is courageous. I love this earth body. And I acknowledge how exhausted it is. I love my mind that feels crazy because nothing makes sense on the planet. I love that my soul was up for a crazy hard challenge. And I love you because you are me. So everything I see in you that triggers the fuck out of me, I bow to you because you're a clear mirror for me to look in. And everything that I see in you that's so beautiful, that I love, that I want to be more like, I bow to that because guess what? You're showing me what's in me. We are just mirrors of each other. And deeper than that, we are each other. Feel me? So this is also being recorded on YouTube right now. I try to save these on Instagram. I try to save them on my phone and then upload them to YouTube because I don't want it to just live for 24 hours. I really wish that we could keep things longer than that on Instagram. So if you want to rewatch this and for some reason it doesn't save on IG, hopefully it's going to save on YouTube. And we all know that when we talk like this, the shit gets silenced and deleted and all that. So who knows? Hopefully this continues to exist and live on YouTube so you could reference it. The link to my YouTube is in my bio. And thank you for being. Thank you for existing. Oh, one other thing I just wanted to quickly say is I'm having this little idea to create a movement challenge on Instagram. And I'm wondering if anyone would be interested in doing a intuitive movement challenge with me for the month of February. Send me a little DM if that sounds like something you'd be up for. I want to get people to move outside of their comfort zones and in authenticity and to be seen. And I know how triggering and terrifying that is for, yay, Christina, you're in? Okay. Yay! So yeah, for me, intuitive movement, moving intuitively. Yeah, tale about nomad. Jana V. Veronica, I'm messing up your name, I'm so sorry. Is Shen is down. Boom! Cool. So this is my idea. Moving intuitively. So we even, I don't know, sometimes I think maybe I'll call it dance your magic. Sometimes I'm thinking intuitive movement. And to me, they're sort of one and the same. But the word dance freaks people the fuck out, right? And life is a dance. Everything is a dance. But we have this like thing in our heads, like dance has to look and be a specific way, and it's performative, and like if it doesn't look a certain way, then blah 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 blah. So intuitive movement is just how the body moves intelligently and intuitively, and like let it rip. And non-performative, like fuck patriarchy and performing movement, you know? Like, yes, performing movement is beautiful and technique has its place and value. Not to say fuck technique, but also like, boom, raw, authentic flow. That has a place and a power too. And how we move our bodies is a metaphor for how we move through the world. So if we can move intuitively and authentically and vulnerably and express with movement whatever energy is alive in our body in this moment, then we can go out there in the world and do it. So, and then I was thinking, like, you know, the month of February, it's the shortest month of the year, so it's the least amount of days to commit to, and it's my birthday month, and I would offer prompts every day, and you know, people could use the prompt or not, you know, because I know we're in different time zones and stuff too. So yeah, I'm just throwing that out there, and I'm excited that this is resonating with some people. How we move our bodies, yeah, is how we move in the world. It's true. When I was in college and I would listen to my dance professors teach technique class, the things that my professors would say, these wise elder women, when they were dropping their gems about cueing our technique, the way we were practicing technique, I was like, whoa, dude, like she's talking about life. Like, so I'm not saying let's throw the baby out with the bathwater. There is value in technique, of course. But there's also a value in the primal, wise, intelligent, infinite life source that wants to move through us unbridled, unedited, untethered, unhinged, fucking wild. Because guess what? We are wild animals domesticated in cages. So what happens when we fucking, first of all, identify the cage? Oh, there's a cage. Then what happens when we open the door? A lifelong caged animal might not even think to walk out. I'm like, what do I need to feel safe enough to walk out? Then why don't I just fucking throw this whole cage off? Then what happens? Then what happens? So yeah, DM me if you feel that, if you're feeling that vibe. Let's do this. And then when we do that, and when we feel resourced enough and secure enough and safe enough to put ourselves out there to be seen in our vulnerability, we are creating a ripple effect and hopefully inspiring other people, because there's enough Photoshop, there's enough of the whole like little rigid little thing out there, and we can get our fill of that. But like, let's create a new wave. Let's create the other vibes that we want to see more of in the world, not just on IG or on YouTube, but like in the world. Who's down? High five. All right, y'all. I'm going to see if any of this saved. Hopefully it did. I love you, and thank you for existing. And infinite compassion for you on this journey. It's confusing. It's complicated. Sometimes it's really gnarly and intense. Sometimes it's amazing. Sometimes it's like pure bliss. So loving you in your fullness, acknowledging you in your fullness, I love the parts of you that are so deeply tucked into your shadow that you don't even know they exist. And I love the parts of you that you're showing bravely to the world. So let's love ourselves in our fullness so that we're more resourced enough to love other people in their fullness. And let's love ourselves enough to have healthy boundaries around the way that we love others. And let's move love through the world, not in the, comfortable way, but in the real way. Yeah. I bow to you. Peace. Peace, YouTube.